Journey goers, welcome back to the Zen Den. Today we're going to focus on crow pose, 𝗏𝗏𝗏. So crow pose is in arm balance. It is usually one of the first postures that you take flight in and experience that epic emotion of ah. I know at least I did, and then I face planted. But really, I just want to take this time to demystify the posture and really let everyone know that no matter where you are in your yoga journey, there is a place for you to start experimenting and playing with this posture and learning the proper mechanics of how to get into it, how to sustain it, and then how to build upon it. So let's get started. Unroll your mat, throw on some epic yoga gear. Maybe you do your hair for me like I did for you, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, you ready to go? So let me first talk about my 5 secret ingredients for crow pose, and really for a lot of arm balances, as well as a lot of inversions too. I have a big article over at Yogi Approved where I mention all this, and as well as in the blog post today. So 5 secret ingredients. Number 1 ingredient, and I wish my fiance was here so he could zoom in on me, but the number 1 ingredient, and I have to apologize for the dog next door. We film in the Zen Den, so please excuse his Saturday morning barking. The number 1 ingredient is spreading our fingers really, really wide, okay? I often see people in class with their fingers like this. We really want to spread the fingers. I like to tell people, imagine that your favorite piece of pie is between each finger, and you want like the most biggest badass piece of pie, right? I mean, I do. So we want to imagine those pieces of pie between each finger. By spreading the fingers really wide, we're creating this nice deep connection, lots of space going from the thumb to the pinky to the heel of the hand, so that you're really firm and rooted and grounded. You know, anything when you balance in any posture and any object, you know, the more space on the ground, or the more, the more connection that you have between the object and the surface, the steadier it's going to be. Same concept with us in our yoga postures. So first ingredient, spread those fingers really, really wide. Find that connection between the heel of your hand, the fingers, all of it's got to feel the connection of the earth. Second ingredient, stack the body. This one is really important. It's super crucial for all arm balances and inversions. And really anything, half moon posture, tree pose, downward facing dog. It's all about aligning the posture correctly so that you're stacking everything on top of one another and, you know, creating the strongest, most healthy, beneficial posture for you. In crow pose, it's really about stacking. See my knees right here connecting to my triceps, stacking here so that you create a shelf-like system for yourself. You're basically becoming a human shelf. Bravo. That's the concept behind stacking here, especially when you start to move into crane posture with straight arms. You'll really want to focus on the stacking concept. The third ingredient is gazing forward. This is a big thing I deal with in my teaching. I just spit on myself. When teaching at the studio, is people like to come into these postures and gaze underneath them, back at their toes, when really we not always gaze in the direction that we're going, right? Gaze forward, never stop gazing forward. It's just like in life, right? You always want to be in the direction, gazing in the direction that you're headed. So never underneath you or behind, right? We're always going forward in our journey. The fourth ingredient, number 4, is sucking the belly up and in, right? So the core has to play a big part in this. It can't just lollygag around while everything else is working for you. So imagine your belly button. You want to suck it up towards your heart and back towards your spine. So up and in, up and in. It's almost going to feel like I just put a yoga corset around your stomach and your back. The entire core area has got to be a team player in this posture. Any posture for that matter. The core should always be sucked up and in, up and in. Unless you're in child's pose and you're like, and you're just, And then your fifth ingredient is breathe, right? So we come into these more advanced asanas and we're so nervous about falling and doing it right and sticking it that we forget to breathe. So you've got to recruit that breath. Bring it in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Really be an integrated yogi, right? We're not just focusing on the shape that we're making. We're focusing on the entire experience that the body is having, and not just the body. I harp on it all the time, the body, mind, and soul, right? So the breath is a huge contender when it comes to integrating all three of those pieces of our journey. Okay, 5 ingredients done. How do we get into the posture? Well, let me tell you. The most common way, and I'm not really warm enough to be in Malasana yet, but I'll get there for you. The most common way that teachers bring people into the posture is through Malasana Yogi Squat. So why is that, right? Because our elbows are already inside of our knees. We can easily plant the hands onto the earth, spread the fingers wide. So let's start to walk through this, right? Get in your squat, get on your yoga mat, and let's do this. Spread the fingers nice and wide, connect them down into the earth in front of you. Start to come up onto the tippy toes, and you want to connect your knees, like you're seeing here, to the back of your triceps. You might want to heel toe your feet in, or you can keep them nice and wide. It's really your choice here. Find what feels comfortable. I then like to lift my bum up into the air and find a higher connection up on my triceps. So knees are coming to the backs of the triceps. You're connecting, you're making your human-like shelf here, yeah? You're gazing forward. So I'm starting to, I'm starting to hinge. So shoulders are going past the wrist. I'm coming up onto the ball of my feet. Now I'm only on my big toes. Before I take off, belly up and in, corset on. Then from here, maybe you just hold, right? I can't hold and talk, but if you're really new to the practice, that's your work right there. Planting the hands, stacking the body on top of one another, knees to the backs of the triceps, gazing forward, hinging shoulders over the wrist, coming up onto the tippy toes, and holding the belly up and in. And breathe there. That can be your crow pose, yeah? Like the yoga journey has no rules. If you're feeling a little risky and ready to move forward, let's see where we can go. So again, move through all 5 ingredients. Spread the fingers wide, connecting to the earth. Stack the knees to the backs of the triceps. Gaze forward. Take that hinging action. Suck belly up and in. Maybe you lift a foot. Okay? Set that foot down. You lift another foot. Set that foot down. Maybe you're really feeling like a badass and we're going to go for it. Take all 5 ingredients, integrate the body, gaze forward, start to lift and bring the big toes together. Breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. If you've got this, start to bring the big toes closer to the bum. And let it go. As you move through all of those pieces, try to not get frustrated. If you're falling and face planting, that's good. That means that you are taking risks. You're challenging yourself, you're facing your fears, and guess what? Crow pose, your face is really close to the ground, so you have a short fall to go. It's not like handstand, right? Let's talk about how we can incorporate props. So props are a beautiful way to aid in our practice and get that extra oomph we need to get into postures. I recommend having 2 blocks and a strap if you have those. If not, you can watch and follow along and then invest in these ever so crucial props that will continue to be used in your yoga journey. Let's start with 2 blocks and propping our feet up on the blocks. This is going to give our butt some extra height so that it's easier to find the knee to tricep connection. So stepping onto your blocks makes it a little bit scarier, but easier to find the connection. Plant the hands, bring the knees to the backs of the arms, gaze forward, belly up and in, hinge, 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 and bring the big toes together. Breathe it out. 3 breaths if you can. One more inhale. Slowly lower toes back to the block. come on up. Another way to use the blocks, you only need one to do this, is to place it in front so that you don't face plant. You can have it on whatever height you want. I'll bring it on the second height. We'll see how well I execute this. Again, plant the hands, all the steps that we go through, and then just keep the block here in case you and fall down, okay? You can also take it to the higher height. And again, 5 secret ingredients, hinge forward. Just practice bringing the head here. Maybe you lift, and let it go. Last on the prop list, grab that strap. Okay, so with your strap, how do you use this? You want to interlace the strap through the metal hooks and create a circle, yeah? You want to have it, this is way too big, but you want to have it so that your wrists are shoulder width distance and the strap is just that same, if not a little bit tighter. So I'm going to tighten this. You got to kind of play with it, yeah? Here we go. Nice and tight. I can even take it a tiny bit tighter. Okay, so really tight. This also is, actually I won't even go there. We'll go there another time. So things to, how you use this and why do you want to take your tail and flap it over here. By using the strap, it's going to allow you to strengthen, stabilize, support the upper arms, which a lot of times when we first come to the yoga practice, our upper body strength is not there, right? Like we've been on the treadmill and the elliptical and doing all these aerobics classes, and we usually forget about our upper body strength, especially women. So this is a great way to strengthen, stabilize, support your crow posture and teach you the mechanics of how to use your upper body. So just like you did before. And if you're working into crane pose, which I will demo now, you're straightening the arms all the way up. This is a great way to assist that posture too. So plant the hands, stack. So you'll notice that my arms are a lot closer together, so I can't really bow out the elbows. This is where you want to bring the knees high up into the armpits. Hinge forward, tippy toes, gaze forward, belly up and in, and lift off. Okay? If you're really advanced, maybe you start to push up to handstand. Woo! And then maybe you catapult out. I've only done that a few times, yeah? If you're working on lowering down from handstand or pushing up to handstand from crow pose, this is definitely your best friend. And last but not least, you can focus on, again, if you're a little bit more advanced in your practice and you're in crow pose, I want to show you 2 other variations that you can use. The first variation is going to be going from crow pose to headstand back down, okay? You have to really breathe, you got to focus, you have to think about how the body is moving mechanically so that you can stack is key here. All right, crow pose. Come into your bakasana posture. Slowly, you really got to engage the belly. Lower the head down. Again, think about what's happening. Start to lift the legs up towards the sky. Move slow. And then retrace your journey. Come back down. You want to stack the knees back on the triceps. Now this is the hard part. And you really engage the belly. Lift up. Slow as you can be. Transition the gaze. Lift up. From here, we'll practice the second. Shoot it back, chaturanga. And then upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Whew. Let me tell you guys, this whole teaching and doing is a lot tougher than it looks. So, thank you for joining me today. That is a quick tutorial of crow pose. to recap, we have our 5 secret ingredients. We have spread the fingers really wide, connect down through the palms. We have, let me think about it. We have stack the body, so making sure that everything's aligned, knees on triceps. We have gaze forward and hinge the body. Always gaze forward. Big, big, big rule. Suck the belly up and in. Allow the core to support you and stabilize you. And then breathe it out. We have our different entryways into the posture. Lifting one foot and then the other. Possibly taking flight today and lifting both toes, bringing big toes higher up towards the glutes. If you're working into more advanced stuff, you're going to start straightening the arms to come into crane pose. Maybe taking that headstand transition, shooting it back to chaturanga. And if you're needing that extra oomph in your practice, you are grabbing your blocks and your strap. You're using the block either behind your toes or underneath your toes or in front of your head, or you're looping the strap around to help you create support in the upper arms, the upper body, and or working on that handstand tangent. I can't talk, you guys. Handstand transition. Whew. Okay, so again, thank you for joining me today. I really hope you start experimenting within your practice and your journey and, flirting with these postures. The worst case scenario, you fall, you laugh at yourself, you have a really good moment in your practice, and you get back up and you try again. All these advanced yogis you see, they have fallen 100,000 times, and that is the beauty of the practice. There's always something to learn. There's always a place to experiment, and there's always a place to grow. So thank you for joining me in the Zen Den. I'm sure we'll be back here really soon. Have a beautiful day.